the crisp air blows against your face, your hips sway with the clip-clop of the horse below. You are seated in the most uncomfortable Western saddle, perched atop a halflinger gelding. A tan, stocky, plump little thing with an attitude to rival Eddie Murphy. The wind in your face is the most crisp and clean you have ever felt. After all, you are in the last frontier, Alaska. Bear country. The trail guide is 3 horses ahead, talking about some time he was intoxicated and cleaning stalls. Very reassuring, I'll have you know. That's when the hissing starts. Is it a snake? No, there's no snakes in Alaska. Then the stinging starts to creep down your throat. The cough you were holding back bursts through your mouth as the trail guide passes you, going in the other direction. You turn your trusty steed around as others start coughing as well. The horse beneath you starts quaking as coughs rack his body as you retrace your steps back the way you came. What the heck is happening? Was there a snake? Again, you already covered that one. There's no snakes in Alaska. A bear maybe? An alien? As the commotion starts to calm, the horses settle and the burning in your throat dissipates, you ask the question no one else seems to want to. What the heck is going on? Well, apparently your trail guide's hip holster isn't the sturdiest. His bear spray had fallen and just so happened to fall exactly where his horse was stepping next. It had promptly exploded and the wind does the rest of the work, carrying the aerosol on the wind right to the rest of you. You had just been bear sprayed. Now, I know you're probably wondering why me getting bear sprayed is important for you to hear about. Well, the truth is, I like to tell that story as it's one of the craziest experiences I have ever been through. But there is a point here. How I got to that point of riding that horse in Alaska. And it all starts with a little girl with no clue where she was headed. Most of you are starting to look at your futures if you haven't already. What college will you attend? What job do you want? What career best fits you? How are you going to pay the bills? So many questions and very few, if any, answers. But has it ever occurred to you that maybe you don't need answers? Maybe you already are headed where you are supposed to be. Everyone has a different path. It would be a very boring world if we didn't. One of my favorite sayings is, just because my path is different doesn't mean that I am lost. Gerard Abrams. My path has looked very different from most. I was part-time homeschooled and part-time at the Killingly High School VOAG program. But my road there was not always straightforward. I grew up with parents that didn't have animals other than a couple of dogs. My mom had a hamster for a week, it then bit my grandfather and just so happened to disappear right after. My dad, on the other hand, did grow up with dogs, but nothing farm-related. So how did I end up with a farm and in the VOAG program? Well, it all started when I was 6 years old. I had a ladybug colony. You know, the ones with all the tubes that they live in. You feed them sugar water with a sponge and watch them all crawl around. Well, I was a great ladybug farmer. In fact, I was so good at it that my ladybugs lived such a lavish life that they just slept all day, every day, for a very long time. No movement at all for weeks. Needless to say, I dropped my dreams of farming ladybugs for a living. But I worked my way up the totem pole of pets as I grew and my responsibility level changed. I had butterflies, fish, hermit crabs, more fish, turtles, and eventually a puppy. I changed my life goals. I was going to breed turtles. As you can imagine, no one was impressed with my new life goals. But hey, my path is different. It doesn't mean that I'm lost. I am here to tell you that I was indeed lost. So lost, I was in the middle of nowhere with no road in sight, and the search helicopters couldn't see me through the dense treetops. That is when my grandmother asked me this vital question. Why can't you breed something cute like a fluffy bunny rabbit? Well, why not? Sure! I changed my path again and onto one that would lead me to farming and agriculture. Your final destination does not have to reflect your path. Maybe you aren't sure what you want from life yet. Maybe all you know is what you're passionate about, and that's okay. Every passion has a job, just like every job starts with a passion. Take agriculture, for example. There are so many avenues that you could take, so many street signs to follow and forks in the road to question. Did you know that even NASA has a connection with the agricultural industry? There is technology up in space right now that monitors the opening and closing of plant stomata that can help a farmer know when to irrigate their crops and to save the most water. Maybe your background in farming leads you closer to the farm. Or maybe your love of technology moves your course to become a tech mechanic for a robotic milking company like DeLaval, or work in an indoor growing facility like Aerial Farms, designing the technology that allows for vertical hydroponic growing, or designing apps that farmers can use from the field to manage crops or livestock. Or maybe your love for the family pooch has led you down the road towards veterinary medicine. The possibilities are endless. Your time in the FFA has prepared you for many career paths. The public speaking LDE made you realize your love of public speaking, and you plan to move on to be a motivational speaker someday. And maybe the responsibility of hard work that you have acquired in the FFA has prepared you for a future in the military, like past national officers Ridge Eubanks and Doster Harper. And if that is the case, thank you for your service. So where is your path taking you? I know it's tempting to feel like you need all of the answers right now, but the truth is, sometimes it's not having the answers that leads you to your final destination. Sometimes it's trusting that where you're headed is where you're meant to be. And sometimes it's taking detours that get you lost in the woods that provide the best experiences. So Connecticut FFA, I challenge you to take a step down a different path, get a little lost, and find your way back. And every time you have a new opportunity or question arise, answer, why not?